Hi everyone, thank you for joining today's session. Today we are very excited. We have lots of things to show you and we have brand new features and a lot of improvements in this release. To be honest, the last one was around July, so it's been a long time. It's Christmas, it's almost Christmas, and we thought to bring you some exciting news to end this year that, well, we all know how it went. So let's get to it and let's see what's new. One thing that we want you to remember always is that TalentLMS is all about building a successful training program. Think about it as your house. You want to build a strong house with strong foundation, customize it as you like, that it fits your needs and your expectations. It's the same with TalentLMS. We consider it to be your foundation of your training house. And with this release specifically, we'll give you all the right tools in order to achieve a strong build that will help you deliver successful training. So let's go and let's see what we have in store. First of all, you might have seen me before. My name is Theo. I am part of the customer education team. And our goal is to help you explore what's new in TalentLMS. I'm not alone though, I have great company with me.
Hello, everybody. I'm Mary. I'm the Customer Education Manager, and I will help Theo today with his presentation. And we want to provide you with the tools to get your job done well. You should know that the session is already being recorded, so you will all get a copy once it's over. And if you have questions or if you have feedback, please email us, send a message to trainingteam@talentlms.com, and we will get back to you.
So let's see what's the plan. The plan is to show you anything that we have added in TalentLMS already. And the first thing that we start with is the new custom homepage builder. I cannot stress enough how important it is to have a content-rich homepage. The homepage is the very first thing that somebody will see when you invite them to join your account. We want it to be pretty. We want it to be functional. We want it to be informative in different types of content, so that way your users will get all the right information right from the homepage before even they get into the training. You will see how easy it is to customize it, and we will see a very good set of examples of how to use it to promote the business and the training and your company overall. We will see how you can perform mass actions, more mass actions in relation to users and courses. It was easy before, it's much easier now. The goal here is to help you save time, and we will see how you can interact with your users and assign them courses very easily and just with a few clicks. The next thing that we will take a good look at is the filtering for assignments and ILT sessions. This again has improved a lot. There is a whole lot of different filters that you can use, so that way at a glance the instructors will be able to see the past assignments, the failed assignments, anything that you need to grade right away, and anything that you have graded in the past. Also, for instructors, we have designed alternative learning paths. You had the option to use prerequisites for previous courses, so that way the users would have the right knowledge foundation before they take the training that you create. But in this case, we have added more options there, and you'll see how you can create learning paths that not only apply to a specific set of users, but to different users who will be taking the same course. And then we have thought about improving the communication that you have with the users. More notification events, the ability to preview the notifications. Remember before you had to create a test user, so that way you see how the ins and outs of notifications work, but now you don't need to do that anymore. We will have the option to preview directly into your email the notification, and what's easier than that? And at the end, we haven't left out the users that will be taking training on the go. We have incorporating webinars on the Talent mobile app. And in this case, users can join a webinar without their laptop, without being in the office, without being in front of their screen, just on the go with their mobile. But before we begin, and before we jump right through the platform that we will be seeing live all the features, I want to show you what we have changed as a comparison in the two homepage options, the before and the after. To the left, you will be able to see what we had before. Don't get me wrong, it was still good, but this has been taken to the next level. Before, you have the option to have links on the top, a main banner, featured courses, but now, except from the different links and the banner that you still have, and the featured courses as well, you have the option to add different types of content. For example, what about a welcome message in a video format with lots of different text options? What about an image? What about more elaborate content and more ways to get your message across? And the editing has changed a lot. Before, you were in the account settings to edit the homepage, and there were lots of options there as well. But now you have a completely dedicated tab for the homepage. And in this case, you have different ways to work with contents that, of course, we'll see together in a moment. So with that said, let's jump into the portal. And in this case, I'm going to switch my tab, and here we are. I like to believe that most of us today are admins and that this view is familiar to everybody. So without any delay as an admin, I'm going into the account settings. The basic settings are the same as before, but here you would expect to see the homepage tab. Not anymore because we have a dedicated section here. By default, the homepage that you have is the simple one, which contains a very minimal approach with just a username and the password field being the main focus of the page. But let's start. Click on Build Your Custom Homepage, and immediately we have the section here that we can use. So let's create it together. Let's add a banner. I click on the section. Let's give it a title, and that can be anything that you would like to highlight, but of course, in this case, we're talking about webinars, so that's what we're focusing on. And in the artwork, you can really choose something unique. Let me select my image, and I'll just create this one, add it there, and add the section. I'm going to give you one tip about this. You saw before that when I was adding the image, I had the option to resize and crop it. You can always do that, but there's an I section. So if I go back to the edit section here, there's an I section next to the image. This will answer any question that you might have about the dimensions or the resolution or any other tips and tricks about uploading an image that will be visible by everybody. So let's move ahead. What would be the next step? Let's say that we would like to add a couple of featured courses. There is no need to use those sections in an order. You can pick and choose anything you need. So let's just add some courses that we can highlight just in case we want to present something to the users before they actually log in to the account. So we have featured courses as a headline, and let's select a couple of those. Plenty of options. These are all the courses that you have in the account, but I'm going to choose a couple of those. You can choose as many as you want, and let me add 2 more. And one final at the end, and add the section. So here we have 4 featured courses. Let's add some text or some video and images. Add text and media. And in this case, let's select something about, well, you guessed it, TalentLMS this time. So I'm going to pop in the headline here. And I have some copy ready, so I'm just going to paste it into the text. Remember that you can always use the toolbar on the top to edit. It's just like creating a course, just like creating a blog post. You have all the available options here. And go to the media to select what we would like to upload. We have 2 options, the image or the video. I'm going to go with the video, and you have the option to drag and drop anything from your own device. Again, you get the indications of the size and the file type. And in the URL, I will be able to paste something. It can be from YouTube, it can be from Vimeo, generally anything with a link. And at the bottom, decide how this will be displayed. I like to keep the video on the right, but you can always change your mind. Add the section, and here we go. However, I might think that the featured courses might be much better at the end. Just hover over the section that you want to rearrange, click on the rearranging icon, and then place it underneath. And if you wonder what we did so far, it's very easy to check. Click on the preview button here, and we will be able to see what we have just created. It looks good so far. I can't complain. I can always go back and edit it. I can go back and change any part of the homepage. But what if you want to edit this section on the top? Let's have a look at it. So back in the home page, on the right side, you see the menu. If I click on the menu, I have two options that I can choose from. Add a page and add a link. You guessed it right, the link will be used to redirect anywhere that you might want, your company webpage or anything that might be useful for people to access before they log into the platform. And in this case, I'm just going to use the blog from the TalentLMS website. We highly recommend to check it out as well because it has lots of resources that might be useful for your own training and for maximizing the use of TalentLMS. And it's also a good example here. Just paste the link at the title, and here you can decide how this would be displayed. Before login, that's on the home page. After login, that's in case you might want this link to be accessible to people that have already logged in into the portal. We're talking about the home page here and especially the external part of the home page. So I'm just going to stick with before login. And just like that, add the link. It's here. Let's add some content though. I'm going to add a page this time. And we have lots of different options. I'm going to focus though on the talent library. Again, it can be anything you want. There is no limitation as to what the content will be. The only limitation is your creativity. So let me just add the title here. And the link, you see that automatically gets populated based on the content that you have on the title. So in other words, it's exactly the same thing as the title. Don't think about it, that's something you cannot change though. You can change anything and you can customize anything about the homepage. So if you don't want to have the dash, you can just remove it. If you don't want to have one of the two words, you can also remove it. And again, show before login. Add the page. And here we have all the content that we have in the menu, the link that we added, the page that we added. We can keep adding, or we can click on reorder and we can play around with the order of those. And when you have secured the order, lock it in again. But let's stick to the page. One thing that's probably you might have understood already is that I'm by no means a developer. I have no idea about coding, and you don't need to have idea about coding either. This is something that I can do without having any clue about HTML, CSS, PHP, any kind of programming languages. This is just an intuitive way to add contents in ways that can be done by everybody just with using the sections that we have. So let's go ahead and add a little bit of content. Again, I'm going to go with text and media, and I'm going to go with a title to begin with. You can add a subtitle, but I just want to keep it a little bit more minimal here. And I'm going to add the text that I want to display. You can always customize it as we did before. And in the media, you might want to use an image or a video. Well, in this case, I'm just going to go again with a video because you can never have enough. They're very easy to use, easy to watch, and they really complement your content. And instead of uploading, I'll use again a URL. So here we go, add the section. But remember, there's another option here. So if you want to ensure that you will be able to divide those two sections, because, well, I'm going to add another one. Here, add a divider and add the section. The divider is a fine line that will be very discreetly separating the two sections or the more than two sections that you will create. In this case, let's do another one. And in this case, let's do something with an image. Again, text and media. And this will be some frequently asked questions that people might have about Talent Library and the courses that you can find there. The headline will be frequently asked questions. And in this case, I'm just going to paste two questions here. And you see that it doesn't look as good. So I'm just going to make this bold and this one bold as well. In the media, I'm going to change it. I'm going to use an image, and this time will be uploaded. Select an image, and again, check out that you have the right dimensions for the image, the right file size. So let's do it. Select an image, and well, our mascot there, his name is Plato, will be able to point out to the frequently asked questions. I want this to be to the left though, because you see where he will be pointing at the section, and here we have it. Of course, if you want, you can add another course carousel. You can never have more than featured courses. You can never have enough of them. So in this case, you can add more and you can select different courses as well. I'm not going to do it now because we just did it before, but I want to preview once more and see what my page looks like. So here it is. And you can always go back and you can preview again your main homepage. You can click on the blog and you can see where this will direct you. Thankfully, it's the correct site. And in the talent library, you can click and you can see the page that we created. I hope that this will help you boost your creativity. It will help you get more ideas with the way that you can engage with the users that watch your homepage, you want to take your training and want to spend a little bit more time with information for your training and for your company before logging in. What do you think, Mary, about this?
I really like this, and you should all know that we have just customized the main site, but if you want, you can customize the same way your branches. If you're new at this, if you just purchased the TalentLMS subscription, so you have not explored yet all the features, you should know that branches could work as separate training environments. So if you want to train your departments or your customers or your partners, and you want to separate them, you want to restrict them to a specific environment, you can use branches. Think of them like mini TalentLMS platforms, but they're all under your main site. So let's go to branches and click on a branch. We have moved the home page. It has its own dedicated tab now, so we can click on home page and customize the view of every branch. Each branch comes with its own URL, so when people use that, they will fall into this landing page. And of course, we can customize it again. We can add more sections that include text or media or featured courses. And if you want to, you can edit the menu like Theo showed you before. You can add extra pages, you can add extra links, or if you want to save time, you can clone from your existing pages, the ones that we created before with Theo. You see the talent library right here. We can bring that into the branch. So you just reuse what you have done before, and this way you will save time. Once we click the clone button, you see that the page is added here, but it's inactive. So make sure you activate it, and then you will be able to see that on the menu tab. And if you want to, you can customize a little bit more. You can update it. So we might remove the FAQ section, for example, and just keep the first one without affecting the original page because we have just cloned it in here.
And that's a great way as well to give different customizations, different content, different branding to the separate branches that you might have, especially if you're using branches to train your partners, your customers, and they might want to have their own personal touch in the design of the homepage. Now, leaving away the homepage, let's see how you can save more time. And in this case, let's jump right through the users so that way we can see what's new when it comes to mass actions. In this case, you see that I have a couple of users here. First of all, one thing that you might have noticed is that I have filtered by group management here. This came from this funnel there. So you can always filter your different users, and that is a very good way to separate the ones that you want based on the group that they are, the branch that they are, the active users as well. And that's a really good way to ensure that you have the right users before you decide to take mass actions with them. In this case, though, I want to have a look at everybody. So I'm just gonna eliminate this filter. And here you see I have 360 users here. So hover over the user section so that way this checkbox gets revealed. Click on it and anything you see in front of you will be selected. You can always unselect the ones that might not be relevant to this specific selection, or you can just allow everything to be selected. The key here is the mass actions button. Before these updates, you were able to activate, deactivate, delete, and send message to the users. But now you can also add them to branch, remove them, add them to a group, and remove them from a group there. And in this case, it will allow you to get very quick access to the type of users that you want, especially if you combine that with the funnel option with the filtering there. And this will save you a lot of time instead of going to the specific branch, to the specific group, and add the users there. And something more. Let's click on any user that we want, for example, Aaron here. And if I just go to the first page, I can update all the information. But if I go to the courses, this is where we can mass select again. So I hover over the course, click again onto the selection button. Everything that you see is selected. Again, you can eliminate some, you can expand the page and select more. But the key here again is the mass actions button. Clicking on it, you can enroll this user to all of the selected courses, unenroll them, and even reset their progress. Well, resetting this person's progress in all of those courses would not be very nice of me, but if you need to do that, that's the easy way of accessing all the courses with mass selection, reset, unenroll, and enroll the person in the courses that you want.
We have added the same mass action functionality under courses. So as admin, go to courses, and now you see a list of all the courses that have been created in this account. If you hover the mouse again over the course tab, you will be able to select multiple courses at once. Again, deselect the ones that you don't want to include for this mass action, and then go to mass actions. All the selected courses now can be activated, deactivated, or you can remove them. Although we don't really recommend deleting courses or even users, because you will not have any more reports about this course, about the user, and usually it's better if you just deactivate. You can add the courses, all the selected courses, to a specific branch, you can remove them from branch so you can save time. You can add them to group, remove them from group, and you can also set a single category for all of them. You can choose whether you want these courses to be visible on the catalog, or you can hide them from the catalog. If the course is visible in the catalog, this means that the learner can go there, find it, select it alone, and register to the course. If it's hidden, nobody can see that on the catalog, so I guess you prefer to do this action alone. You prefer to manually add users to courses, so they can only see the course that you have assigned to them.
And once you take all those mass actions, the next step would be to communicate those to the users. With this case, let's just have a look at the events engine, where we can have a look at the notifications. The notifications were here before. This is not the new part. The new part is the improvements that we have brought and the two new notification types that we have. So let's go to add a notification, so that way we can see those together. When you add a notification, of course, you give it a name, so that way you can identify those easily in the list of notifications that you have. And the event is what will trigger the selected notification. We have two new ones: number of hours after the user has been created. This is a great notification to use for reminders. Maybe you want to create a notification for users when they are just created, and that will include their credentials, username, password, any kind of information that you might want to convey directly for the first time that they will log in. But maybe a couple of hours later or a couple of days later, you want to send them a message about the training that they have to do, the next steps that they need to take, and communicate anything that you would like for all of those users. So this is the one that you need to select. The recipient will be the related user. And to be honest with you, 99% of the times, the related user is the correct answer here. You can define the hours. So that could be 1 day, 24 hours, 2 days, 3 days. Just select the ones that you need. And then in the body, you just create the email that will be received by the related user. The people that have signed up, that have basically created and hopefully signed up a couple of hours after the original notification that they received. The other one is related to deactivated users. So let's select here deactivation, and you see I don't even need to type the entire words. You can just see the relevant notification populating. So number of hours before user deactivation. One thing to consider is that you can deactivate users instead of deleting them if they don't need to take any more training from you. This is a great way to maintain their data, so that way nothing gets lost. If you delete, you lose everything. If you deactivate, the data remains there. And this way you don't allow them any more access to the account, so that way they don't log in without having any training to do. In this case, you can drop them a notification, define the hours that you would like this to be sent before they get deactivated. And that means that it will be a good heads up for them to go in, download any files that you might have shared with them, see the reports, perhaps take a final revision, a final look at the courses, and engage with the rest of the people that perhaps take the same training with them. Again, the related user is the person here that should be the recipient. And let's define how many hours. Well, I'm just going to say 48 hours. So 2 days, I think, is enough. And let's create the body of the notification. The subject line is always the first one. So here it goes. And then we just provide the copy, the contents that will be sent. You can always expand this window just for a little bit more comfort. And if you want to personalize this notification, you can use the smart tags at the bottom. For example, if you want to use their first name, click, and this smart tag will populate the first name of this specific user. Now, how do we check if this notification is looking exactly as we want it to look? Preview. This is the button that you have to click. Preview the notification, and here, to do that, you need an email address. It doesn't matter which kind of email address it is. It can be your actual professional email address. It can be perhaps a test account that you might have created to receive notifications, subscription services, preview of notifications in TalentLMS, and anything that can be used as a test email. Once you paste it here, send, and you will be able to receive exactly what you expect the users to receive. One more thing though, here we are using the smart tags below to populate information based on the users. Don't worry if you don't see them in the email. This is because this will be triggered in the backend with users that have been in TalentLMS. If you think about it, the email that you use here is not part of TalentLMS. That's why this will not be populated with the information about your first name or anybody else's first name. But for the users, they should be able to see their first name. And for you, you should be able to see a good preview of what this notification will be. And one more thing as well. Here, you see the filters. If you don't filter, this will work for every single person that is about to be deactivated, and this will be sent to them 2 days before. If I go and filter it, you can have this notification for specific branches. You see where I'm going? If you're using branches to provide training to people in different languages, perhaps, you can create a notification as many times as you want, filter it with different branches, and have copy in different languages as well.
So Theo, if I deactivate now manually a user, will this notification be triggered?
Well, that's a great question. If you deactivate a user manually now, it will not, because it needs a notice. We have 2 days to send a notification, so we need to have an establishing point from where these 2 days will be counted. So let me show you how you can do that. Back to the home page. If I go to the users, we can set a deactivation date to the users. So in this case, I'm just gonna use Aaron here. He's gonna be the unlucky one today. And moving towards the end, we will be able to click on deactivate that. It's like putting an expiration date to a user. I know it doesn't sound as polite as we want it to be, but this will help you a lot for the user management if somebody doesn't need to take training for a long amount of time. So let's say that Aaron here will be deactivated at the end of the year. So 31st of December. If I update this user, now we know for sure that the notification will be sent based on the 2 days notice that I set on the 29th. So in this case, you need to have a deactivated date so that way the notification will be triggered. And one more thing as well, you don't need to do it one by one. That would be a lot of work, especially if you have 200 users to manage one by one. That would be a full-time job by itself. So let's go to the import and export and see what we can do there. Here is the cheat sheet. I'm going to click on it. Again, I'm not a developer. Don't worry that it looks like code. Trust me, it's not. It's just fields that you will need to complete in order to be able to take any actions with more than 1 users at a time. This is the example, and use this example right away. You can populate as many of those lines as you want. So maybe I can just add those people. But what about the deactivation date? Let's go back again, and you see here that you can add deactivation date. Let's copy that, and let's bring it on the top and paste here. So in this case, if you have real people's detail here, you can just put your symbol there, the ampersand, space, and have the deactivation date, perhaps being the 31st of December 2020. And you can change the dates to different people. It doesn't have to be the same, but this is a way to massively deactivate as many people as you want.
And then let's go to reports. Every release, we make a little bit something in our report. So what we have done now is in surveys, we have updated slightly our reports so you can download and view the submissions of the users. Let's click on one. This is the survey report. We have collected data from multiple users. You can see when they submitted the response, how much time it took, and under options, you could also preview the actual answer of the user. But all of this can be exported. So if you click on the export button, you can get an Excel report. So you can open now this report and you will see an overview. Let's wait just for a moment. So it will open. Here we are. You will see an overview of how answers were distributed, and on the details is where you can see the name of the users, again, their email, the date and time of submission. But what we have added is this column, the second column. You can click on view submission, and without logging in, you can go to the response of that user. In our last release in July, we did this for assignments and tests. So now we have completed for surveys as well. You can view the answers without logging in. And it would be great if you use this with the schedule option. Every time you can export a report, there is a button to schedule also on specific dates, even maybe every week on your favorite day, or you can switch to months now and pick the first of every month. So let's dedicate one day for reports. You can add customer recipients. You can add here their email address, and it could be anyone's email address. We don't have to add the user into the platform to get this report. So basically, you can send this report to external people. They get an Excel file, and they can also view the submissions of the users without logging in. So you don't have to add managers or administrators just because they need to have access to reports. Save some sets, don't add the users. You can schedule the reports to them.
And that's a great feature. And remember, in our previous release, we had the exact same feature with downloading and viewing the submissions of the users for the test reports and the assignment reports. So now we have tests, assignments, and surveys. And let's stick around with the reports a little bit, and let's just have a look at the timeline. The timeline is the Bible of the admins. Basically, it is a diary of every single action that has happened from day one within this account. Of course, there's tons of pages and there's lots of filters. If I eliminate all the filters, you will be able to see that I have hundreds of pages, and you will possibly have hundreds of thousands of pages. So in this case, in the event, we have added more things that you can filter on. For example, let's click on this and let's select from, well, lots of options here. Let's select to see who has added users to course. In this case, you can see the name of the user that has been added to which course. And this is what you had to do before. But now you can see not only that, but you can see, of course, who has done it and in which capacity. So in this case, Kate here has been added to the Test ILT course by Mary, and Mary is an admin, so the action is by admin enrollment, and so on and so forth. Another thing that you can do here is to filter who has downloaded files. There's a lot of questions that can be answered just by this one, file download. I'm pretty sure that many times anybody who is especially invited only as an instructor is asking you as an admin, can I see how people are engaging with my files? Can I see, is it worth it to upload files? Do people see them? Do people download them? This will give you the answer. And not only that, you can see who has downloaded, which file, and from which course this has happened. And one more thing as well, if somebody's asking you about it, you can download, and you can download the full report of this timeline, so that way you can send it to anybody who is curious to see how they engage with their files. You can also filter by user, and you can filter by course.
Now, let's move to a feature that has been unlocked from the Plus and Premium customers. So if you have subscribed to Plus or Premium, you have automations. This is a feature that will help you automatically assign courses to users when a specific action happens. We go to automations and let's add an automation so I can show you a small improvement that has huge impact on your training. Let's search for on course completion, assign courses. Here it is. Before, you could select just one course, and once this course was completed, we could assign to the user to one or more training courses. Now, the left column has changed. You can add more options. I want the user to complete both courses, and when these courses are completed, they will be assigned to more trainings. So this is what we have changed. Now we're asking the user to complete more courses, and once this is done, once the criteria have been met, we will automatically assign the user to the other courses. You don't have to spend time in your reports to check every day who completed now the training. Did they complete the entire bundle package of courses and then assign them to trainings? We can automate this. Just leave it to the system. So if you want to leave this to the system, add a name to the automation so you can save that and have it on the list with the rest of the automations. Things will happen magically because it's automated.
And because we do like automations and we want to ensure that everything will be working magically, as Mary very well said, we want to ensure though that people have magically the right training as well, in the right order with the right learning path. So let's do this. We have seen enough of the administrators, and let's switch to instructors for a moment. Before, you were able to select different courses and set different learning paths per course. For example, if I go to this one, we will be able to go to the right in the rules and path, and you will be able to see the learning paths here. You can always add prerequisites, courses that people will be able to take before they complete this one. And that means that the people that take those courses will have, with these courses here, the right foundation of learning to get, for example, the course that we are looking at today. However, we have added alternative rules, and this is how you can see it. And even I can add another one, and I can choose a completely different response, a completely different course. So this will allow you to either have users take those two courses before they take this one, or have users take this one before they take the one we're talking about, or have people take this one before take the rational guide here. How this can be applied in an example, because I know that theory sounds great, but we want to see it in action. Think about it like that. This is a very popular course now because it's returning to work, after this beautiful year. And below, you might want to have people from different departments taking the training that they need before they reach to that one. For example, here, this could be applying to the new hires that are not as experienced, and they need two different courses in order to get all the right material. The general principles might be given to your supervisor, so that way, well, they know already the basic content, that's just a revision and just a brush up before they get that one. Or you want to be able to provide these courses to your senior manager, who will be part of your mentorship program, perhaps for the new hires, and they just want to be reminded of what they need to do as a mentor and then take the course that you create. So different prerequisites, different learning paths that all lead to the same course, and that will allow you to ensure that different people from different levels, different trainings, different parts of the company can get the same course without having to clone the course and create different learning paths based on who the targeted course is. So that's something very good to consider, especially if you want to share content with somebody that comes from different places of training.
And let's stick to the instructor role. Let's go back to the course content. You see here we have a simple course, an online training course that anybody can complete when they're at home, when they're at work, when they're moving. But if you want to, you can turn this to blended learning. You can add an instructor-led training unit. So you can schedule sessions that will happen either in classrooms or via webinar tool. So just pick your day that you would like to have the session. Choose whether this is going to be in the classroom so we can add the location and how many people can be in that room, or if this is a webinar. And now click create a new webinar if you want to use your integrated tool. In TalentLMS, from account settings, you can choose with which webinar tool you would like to have your meetings. You can use a default one, or you can integrate your own. So if you have Zoom, GoToMeeting, GoToTraining, Big Blue Button, you can connect your tool with TalentLMS. And every time you click create a new webinar, this will automatically be published on your webinar tool. We have given a name, we'll have selected the day, the time, we can set a duration, and if you want to, you can add a description. So now we save the session and let's preview. Learners would have to complete all the previous units, and when they reach this one, they would have to register, and this way they will book a seat for the session. We can either wait for the learners to come here alone, or we can go ourselves to the All Users tab. And now if you hover your mouse over the user tab, you will be able to select them all and through the mass action, assign them all to the same session. We didn't have this mass action before. You would have to do this manually one by one. So now we have made this easier. You can select them all and through the mass action, assign them to the live session that you want. And let's click now home. Let's stick to the instructor role. But on the home dashboard now, the instructor can see on the right side of the screen all the assignments that users have submitted and we're waiting for the approval of the instructor, or all the live sessions, sessions that users have been registered for, and we still want the instructor to grade them. So first assignments. Here you see the pending assignments. So if you want to take an action, you can check the answer and grade the user, select whether he passed or failed, add your own score and comments. And you have to do this for each learner separately because this is an assignment. Each user has put a lot of effort to respond to you. And what we have done here, we have added more filter options so you can find all the assignments from the past, whatever people have passed, still pending or have failed, or you can just look at the past assignments or the not passed. And you can also filter based on the results of the latest week, the latest month, or even for a specific period of time. You can define from the 1st of December until today, and you will see some results for this time of period. The same filters are now available on the ILT users. Here you can see all the users that have registered for the session. When they register, you have the session outside of the system. So when you're done, you have to come back and grade them. You will decide who passed or failed. And here's where we can see all the pending users. Again, we can do this one by one. We can grade them one by one, or we can use the mass button to grade them all at once. And you can also check all the users that have registered in the live session, or just the past users, just the people that have not passed a live session. Again, filter per week, per month, or for a specific period of time.
And this will make the instructors' managements and feedback providing sessions a lot faster, a lot easier, and they will be able to compare results as well, because this way they can see from different courses who has passed, who has failed, and it will give them a good overview of how their students are generally performing. But let's go to the learners, because with any updates, we are trying to have something for everybody, and we would never leave the learners outside. At the end of the day, the learners are the majority of the people using TalentLMS, taking the training that you provide. So in this case, we've made filtering of the courses a little bit easier for them. It was very quick to go to the course catalog before as well. They could just go to the categories, browse, and get the courses that might be interesting for them. But now, you see the little arrow there? This means that there are subcategories in it. So if I click under the management, we have 2 categories. If I click under compliance, we have 2 more. If they want to just check the health and safety options, they can click here and the relevant courses will be populated. But if they want to check all the management ones, when they tick next to the category, the subcategories as well get selected. So in this case, at this point, we have health and safety and management, project management and risk management courses available here. This is a lot easier for them because they will be able to either individually select subcategories or just with a click select as many subcategories, because many people might have lots of different subcategories, and you can even have within subcategories more subcategories, and that can perhaps result in lots of different options here, which is good for the learner, but it's much better to be able to just select it at once and get the right courses in front of them.
Well, now let's move away from the platform and let's go to the mobile app. Well, I cannot get you to the app, so I have some screenshots for you to explain what we have changed here. You know that TalentLMS has a free app for the learners, so anybody can search for TalentLMS, they download it, then they enter your domain name, their username and password, and they have access to the courses they have been assigned to already. Most of the content is available online and for offline use. And by offline, I mean, you can have a video. If you have uploaded your video, they can watch this offline as well. But if you're using video from YouTube, well, you guessed right, they can only watch this online because we're streaming live. We cannot view this offline. What we have added here is the support of the ILT sessions. The live sessions, the one that we created before, now learners can access that from their mobile app. They can view that unit and register to the session. Again, they have to book this way a seat from themselves. And when it's time, 15 minutes before the session starts, we go to the next screen. They can click on the join button, and from there, they will leave our app and go to the webinar tool. Now, again, it really depends on what tool you have integrated with TalentLMS. I have Zoom on my account, so every time a user clicks on the join button, they're transferred to the Zoom app, or a new window for Zoom will open to follow the session. So once they click the join button, they're going to the tool you're using, the one that you have integrated with TalentLMS. You can try this.
And of course, that is a great example as to how flexible you can be with TalentLMS and how many options you can provide to the users, because taking training on mobile is definitely something that will benefit a lot of people that do not need to be in the office, or maybe that they might still be working from home, but it's a little bit loud there as well sometimes. So they can always go for a walk, join a session, and take the training with peace of mind.
And we reached the end. So if you have any questions, if you have any feedback, just send us a message, send an email to trainingteam@talentlms.com. I want to thank you for being here, and perhaps we will not see each other again before the end of the year. So happy holidays, stay safe, and enjoy time with your family and your beloved ones.
Indeed, thank you so much as well for joining. It was really great showing you all the new features that we have. We are very excited to what 2021 will bring, and we hope that it will make the change that we need following this year. But I really hope that at least you are set with the new features that we released, and you have all the fundamentals and all the foundation to build successful training, happy training, and engage with your users no matter where they are, and hopefully we will be able to see you soon as well. Thank you, take care, and Happy New Year to everybody.
Bye-bye.